Hello there, and welcome to the third episode of the Worldbuilder series. And in this one, I'm going to show you a more specific tutorial on how to create timers and how to trigger certain events once those timers have expired. Alright, so first things first. Now, I've already made this map. This is an old one that I made quite a while back, just based off of the classic Fords of Eisen map, or in AOTR's case, River Eisen. And what I made it was to be more like the RTS game Total War, where you have a certain truce period where you can't actually attack the other player until a certain time has run out. It allows you to kind of manage your troops a little bit and yeah, just strategize a little bit and then let all hell break loose afterwards. Well, anyways, so to create this kind of a scenario, I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do with timers, but let's just say that you wanted to make a little truce period where neither player can attack the other. They can't go beyond a certain point. Well, as I showed you in the last episode, you want to do areas. You want to make little areas. And in this case, I made specific areas that are cutting off specific choke points, the only choke points of entry into this area. So I've got this one up here, I got this one here, and then I got this one down here. Stretches from way up there all the way down here. Now, like I said, that was in last episode. If you can't quite recall, just go up to the polygon tool and we just go boom, 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 boom. And you can stretch this thing out however you want it. Very, very easy. So I'm going to just delete that real quick. Oh, let me try that again. Alright, now I've already got these areas named. You'll see if you click on one of them, it's area name. Area 1, I got area 3, and the other one is named as well. This is important because when you go to your scripts, it's going to ask for those very specific names. Alright, now up here, you go to scripts, make sure you're under your own player name, and like I said, I've already got this stuff made, but in your case it's going to be a little bit different. Okay, when you go to make a new script, you have to have a specific condition for the timer. So what you want to do, go to script conditions, and of course you'll make new, and you go up to game type up here. Is game in a skirmish or multiplayer game? You go down here, click it to true. It's going to be at default false, but you want it to be at true. Click OK, of course. And then you go over to actions if true. Now, like I said, I've already made this, but what you do to set a timer, okay, make sure to go down to scripting, timer, seconds countdown timer set. Now, it's going to be a triple question mark thing here for you. Make sure that all you have to do is just click in this box and name it whatever you want. So I named it timer 1. You don't have to go to a drop down box. I can't quite recall if you're going to have anything in your drop down except for this one here. I've named a couple of them here, timer 1, 2, and player 2 timer 1. I believe I named that. Like I said, this is an old map. I can't quite remember. So just name it whatever you want, and then set it to expire in however many seconds that you want it. Obviously, it's going to go by, 60 seconds for 1 minute, so just keep that timed properly for you if you want to go for minutes. Alright, now, because we're wanting to trigger those specific areas as impassable for that duration, what I did was I went down to map, and then make area impassable for human player. And you just go down there and you would select whatever those specific areas are. As I showed you before, I've got all those simply named, and make sure that it's selected to true, not false. Okay. And I'll show you what I mean by this right now. Alright, I'm going to go down here. And of course, always make sure to save. I didn't make any changes, so I don't need to save. Okay. I got my timer at 15 seconds. Try to cross over here.
Move your feet.
Got an enemy right there. Now, boom.
They're attacking us!
Pretty easy. You saw that I have another timer that started right as that first one ended. Don't worry about that one too much. Those are just specific conditions that I have in play for other conditions. Now, let's say that you also want to have units appear at a specific time and come into the map. Kind of like how in certain campaign missions you've got units that appear at specific times and they come in off screen. Alright, so what you do, you make a new waypoint. Now, like I said, I've already done this. Go up to the waypoint tool, like in the last episode, and you can even make this off screen. Okay, you just you click on that, and then hold the left click as you've already clicked it, and then drag. You want to drag it wherever you want that waypoint path to end. Boom. So I made it end at waypoint 8, and I also gave it a name. Now you have to have this as a specifically named one, like I mentioned before in the last episode. And I named it Isengard Path. Alright. Go back up. Let's see if I can find it now. Alright. So this is going to be a little odd for you to start off with. Go up to Script Conditions. I mean, of course, make a new script, but you know what I mean. Now, you always want to make sure that once your trigger, in this case a specific timer, has expired, you go down to Unit, include Structures, Other, not the action one, but Other. Go down to Spawn. Then you spawn named unit on team at a waypoint. Don't go with any of these other ones. It has to be a named unit, otherwise the script functions won't work right. You go down to spawn unit. It'll ask you to name it. You just type it in here like what we did with the timer. It won't have a drop down for you, except for Ring Hero Golem. So you just want to name it whatever you want that named unit to be. Of type, and of course you go down here. And in my case, I went to the Isengard Urukai. But you can choose whichever one you want. So I went down here, Isengard Fighter, Fighter Horde, Classic Urukai unit. Now this, again, it's going to be a little weird for you, but it will not pop up in the drop-down list. It doesn't even do it for me either. Look at this. It does not pop up player 1, team player 1. I had to type this in manually myself, and you have to do it exactly like this. It has to be a capital P _1 / lowercase t and then uppercase P underscore 1 there. It has to be that way, otherwise it will not work for you to have it spawned on your team. And then it's going to spawn at waypoint 7, all right, which is what we have up here. Of course, go to apply. Okay. But that's not the only thing that we want. We want it to follow the waypoint path from there all the way over to there, or wherever you wanted them to go. So you make another condition. Okay. So this is the one that we just made, spawning them at waypoint 7. But the other one is another condition here. So the easiest one that I have found to do this, go up to unit includes structures, and unit has been created. Okay, this is where it's important to have named that specific unit. It cannot happen unless that unit is named. And you just put your, well, it should just pop up your name that you created before right here. Okay, select that. And then actions of true. Unit follows the waypoint path. Now you could choose this if you really wanted to. Unit follows the waypoint path exactly. I've never really had much of a problem with doing this though. So unit, whatever that named unit is, should pop up in your drop down. Follows waypoints beginning at waypoint Isengard path. Now this is where you have to have it named before, like I showed you. Otherwise, it will not pop up in the drop-down box. Okay. Something to consider about that, by the way. Once you make that waypoint, like we did earlier, and you name it, you can screw this up, but once you name it, immediately go up to that script and input that specific path that you just named. If you don't do it immediately after you name it, it's going to be a little weird. I don't know why it does this, but if you don't do it immediately after you name it, it'll just disappear and won't pop up in that script. This was really confusing to me because I just made a lesson on this just a few days ago for episode 2. And so I actually had to consult my own lesson to make sure that I was doing it right. And it turns out I didn't make the script immediately after naming it. So just a little pointer there. Alright, so since it's named already, it's all set up, it's ready to go. I'm going to show you how this is going to actually work. Now this is the same exact timer as for when those areas become impassable. You're going to see the unit. See the CP go up in a second. Boom, he's appeared, now he's spawned. And voila, there he is. And follow that waypoint path all the way over to here somewhere.
Ready weapons.
Yeah, now he's ours.
Faster.
And you can do that with any number of units that you want. I think that I might have overlooked something important for you guys. My apologies. So for the areas, to make them impassable, right? go to skirmish mode, true. Need to go to make an area impassable for human player, true. Okay, so that's how that's made to be impassable. And obviously, if you trigger that timer that we set earlier, set timer 1, okay, we set that timer to expire. But here's the thing, we set the timer to expire while at the same time also setting all of these areas to be impassable for those 15 seconds. Alright, this is where having the second timer comes in handy. Once timer 1 has expired, then you go through the same scripting process, but just go through and click them all as false. That's as simple as that. I actually did a copy and paste number on this for these. So pretty easy. Just go down there. Once timer 1 has expired under scripting, set timer 2. Yep. Scripting timer right here. Then you just name timer 2, just like you did with timer 1. And set it to expire whenever you need it. Yep, and that's pretty easy. Make an area impassable for human player. Area 1, just go through the same areas, but make sure they're all false. Easy. Oh, but there was one other one I forgot. If you want to have a timer where it actually shows the timer up in the top left corner somewhere, go up to Interface, Counters and Timers, and hit Specific Timer Display. And just go from there. Should pop up your timer that you made earlier. Localized string. And just go with first wave timer. Now, I've never used any of these other ones before, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what any of them really do. If you guys know and want to just fill me in on some of this stuff, I'd love to know. So, there's that. Pretty straightforward. If you don't have this, your timer will not appear in the top left corner. Alright. That's a short, simple lesson for you all. Hope that you can get a cool little campaign sort of scenario going there. If you have any further questions, as always, feel free to reach out. Thanks.